is the Sharh of Ibn Rajab al-Hanbali, and this is a Sharh which is extremely extensive, full of hikmah, full of statements from the Salaf, and it gives a lot of insight and a lot of principles that will help the Muslim develop, I feel, also, become a stronger believer. Jazakallah khair. And we will look at, gaining benefits from other ulama also, Ibn Uthaymeen, as advertised, Ibn Uthaymeen, and others from the ulama. But looking into Hadith, when we are looking at the Hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, we are looking at the statements and the life of the person who was most beloved to Allah, who walked the face of this earth. Allah loved his actions, Allah loved his statements, Allah loved his character, Allah loved everything. He was perfect. إِنَّكَ عَلَى خُلُقٍ عَظِيمٍ. You are on a exemplary form of character. You are the model for all of mankind. And it's for this reason Allah decreed that He was going to send him as a mercy and a guide for us. How whimsical would we be without him? How misguided would we be without him? How much in need do we need his guidance? So when we are saying we're going to study the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, it is honor for us, it is guidance for us, it is salvation for us. إِنَّكَ لَتَهْدِي إِلَى صِرَاطٍ مُسْتَقِيمٍ. You are guiding to the Sirat al-Mustaqim. But I want to ask you a question. I'm sure there's people in this room, there's people listening, and we have to be frank with ourselves sometimes, that we have identities, or we have people, or what was I going to say, individuals who we admire, but not for a religious reason. We may like this person because he's a good footballer, or we like this person because he's good at something I'm interested in, not religious at all. But at the same time, you will realize that no matter how much of an expert he is in this thing and how much you respect him for that thing, and some people will love him for that thing or her, they will realize that such a person is not complete. They do things that you might think, okay, well, I wish I didn't do that, or I'd do something differently. So the question here that I'm asking is, no matter how much you respect something other than the Prophet ﷺ, is there anybody on the face of this earth that you meet this person and you just love everything about him? Is that possible? Even maybe your own mother, even maybe your own wife, even maybe your own children. Is there a person that you meet and you just love everything, the way he looks, the way he acts, his character, the way he speaks? You can't find any fault in it. Anas bin Malik radiallahu anhu, so when I saw the Prophet ﷺ's face one day, I was just looking at his face, looked at the moon, looked at the face, and there was nothing that was illuminating more than the face of the Prophet ﷺ. Nothing more beautiful than the face of the Prophet ﷺ. Others from the companions said, when I saw the Prophet ﷺ, Ashhadu Allah, I just said it, هذا ليس وجه الكذاب. This is not the face of a person who is going to lie. It's not possible. It's not possible for a person to fall in love with a person entirely. And this is how the companions were. It wasn't extreme. It wasn't, trying to support an agenda. It wasn't they were doing it because they feared for themselves. No, it wasn't like that. And we know it wasn't like that because they carried on his sunnah and his Islam afterwards. And even his enemies used to praise his virtue. And they had to admit to it. Abu Sufyan, when he wasn't a Muslim, when he went to Rome, he spoke to the ruler at that time, the emperor. He said, if it wasn't for Arab pride, I would have lied against him. I would have lied. I would have just said it, so that we have an ally to go and fight this man and get rid of him. What did this emperor say to him? Did he say? He said, does he ask for the dunya? Does he ask for power? Does he always win? Because that's also a sign. Does he always win? Because Allah is going to test the Prophet ﷺ. He's not always going to win. What's his lineage? Abu Sufyan wanted to lie, but he couldn't lie because he knew that this man is Amin. He knew that had to be just about the things that we have to say. And these are the hadith that we are going to study, bi'idhnillah, 40 hadith, and we'll see that there's a lot of benefit, there's a lot of khair, and there's a lot of things that we will take away from this sharh. And you're going to improve, because this is from the wahy. But I want you to contemplate with the thing that we've just mentioned right now. This is the Prophet ﷺ. This is what is coming to us in black and white text. He didn't say it to you. You didn't see him say it. You didn't see him do it. And we all know that whenever somebody reads something, the implication, the effect is very, very different when a person actually addresses you. When the person actually is showing you. The person is actually investing in you. Imagine if you had seen the Prophet ﷺ said, إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ. If you imagine if the Prophet ﷺ say, الطهور شطر الإيمان, and explain it to you in a nice way. This is how the Prophet ﷺ had an effect on his companions, because he reformed them. And it wasn't just black and white written. He was a school in himself. And the Prophet ﷺ also said in another hadith, أُعْتِيَتْ جَوَامِعَ الْكَلِمِ, that I have been given speech which is very precise, but the meaning is very comprehensive, very extensive. إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ. Just one statement, few words. I believe we're going to have maybe 2 lessons just on that. And I don't think we're going to cover everything. But the point here is the whole religion is formed on these 40 hadith, as some of the ulama have said. And they are all very, very precise and concise statements. Ask Allah to give us tawfiq and the ability to benefit from these hadith, and He makes it as a hujjah for us and not against us, and He unites us with our Imam and the one who uttered these statements, and the ones that were reformed by them and practiced Iman in their statements and their actions through them. هذا والله أعلم وصلى اللهم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين.